Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode. We are here to go over the Week 3 preview between the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Colts are going to be on the road for this one. This should be an interesting game because it's the first division game of the year. It's the first time the Colts meet the Titans, the first time they get to see Cam Ward, and it's the first time Daniel Jones gets to field the AFC South for the first time. Now, I don't know how you guys might feel about other divisions, but me personally, I think the AFC South is one of the toughest divisions to play in when you're in the AFC South. Now, of course, from the outside looking in, it might not look that way, but personally, I think that's one of the toughest divisions in like division battles. Like you might think the NFC East or things of that, like maybe even the North. But I think when you look at division games, it's prime time games because they're always intense and always close. Now, of course, the Colts might have been favored out of the last two matchups, like last year when they swept the Titans, but that's not the topic of discussion this time. I think it's going to be a different feel because no matter how you put it, Cam Ward has shown the ability to actually play good football when he gets the chance to do so, but it hasn't been in his favor as of late because of the team he has around him. They just got to build around him. Of course, you're going to have your hiccups, and it's going to look a little bit rough because you're the Tennessee Titans. But Cam Ward has shown you that he has the goods. He has the ability to go out there and play good football. And that's going to be a huge question going into this game. Are the Colts going to let Cam Ward go crazy in the first division matchup? It is a possibility. Now, of course, Latu was in practice this week, so he's going to be probably able to play this week, but probably on a snap count, probably limited. But having him back is a huge bonus, especially to a game like this with Cam Ward and his ability. He's going to definitely show some things, and it's not going to be the last time that the Colts are going to have a headache watching him play football because, honestly, in the first two matchups for the Indianapolis Colts, with playing Tua and then playing Bo Nix, you probably got a flash of combination of both with Cam Ward. Now, Cam Ward is better than both of them, but both of those abilities of those two guys combined into one, you'll probably have a prototype Cam Ward type of quarterback. So I think quarterbacks-wise, I think they got a glimpse of both of those guys in Cam Ward before they meet Cam Ward. So it's going to be interesting to see what the defensive line look like going up against him, especially with the fourth Buckner and Grover Stewart. I know they're going to try to wreak havoc, but they haven't really been closing in on attacking the quarterback as of late. The pass rush has been a little weak, but the run defense has definitely been, spot on. Of course, they had their spurts with Achani and J.K. Dobbins, exploding for big runs, but I think they've pretty much been limiting them. And with Lou Anarumo's scheme, you're probably going to see like sporadic runs like that, but the main goal is them not getting into the end zone, So it's going to be interesting to see what the run game looks like against the Titans and how the pass rush attacks Cam Ward. Now, of course, when you look at Daniel Jones, he's been having himself a solid year so far. The first two games has been really good for him. Going up against this defensive line for the Tennessee Titans is no joke. They have some heavy hitters on that line. It's not me just being biased because they're in the AFC South. I think when you put their defensive line against other defensive lines in the NFL, they got to be top 10. It's no question. Just because they got Simmons out there, it puts them automatically in the top 10 race because he's one of the best in the game. So, his interest, it's going to be interesting to see how Daniel Jones dials down and try to figure out how to read the defense against the Tennessee Titans because, like I said, these games are not normal NFL games. The division games are way more intense. It's like a playoff atmosphere every time because the hatred for both sides against each other is just top-tier hatred. And me personally, I don't really hate nobody. I don't be hating. If you're out there playing good football, I give you your credit. One of my worst rivals in the AFC South is the Tennessee Titans. So it's going to be interesting to see how he pretty much, plays against Tennessee. I know they're going to try to stack the box. Is Jonathan Taylor going to have himself another good game? He exploded on the scene last week against the Denver Broncos. Can he go into Tennessee and do the same thing? It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr., are they going to have a big game because the secondary for Tennessee has been lackluster? That's going to be interesting to see. And how's Cam Ward going to go up against Lou Anarumo. Lou Anarumo has been a mastermind when it comes up to schemes and try to attack the quarterback and make bad decisions. Is it going to happen with Cam Ward? This Cam Ward has been under attack a lot the last 2 weeks, and going up against Lou Anarumo, it's not going to be anything different. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes up against this rookie. Are we going to rely on Spencer Strader? He's been having himself a good year. It's been perfect dang near, besides the last week's kick, the 60-yarder, but he wound up hitting the game with a field goal. Are the Colts going to have to rely on him this week just due to them not being able to create in the red zone? And they have a lot of weapons, but whenever they get to the red zone, they always settle for 3. They just cannot get 6. Of course, they do every now and then, but percentage-wise, I would say it's been really low, other than Daniel Jones getting into the end zone. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do when they get down there in the red zone. Of course, rely on Jonathan Taylor's got to be the go-to idea. Keeping Daniel Jones, doing what he does. He's been attacking star corners all year. So it's going to be interesting to see how he attacks this defense without a true star corner. It's going to be interesting to see how he does that. But if he can stay clean and poised and precise like he has been, of course, clean up the minor mistakes, I think he can have himself a good game. One of the biggest worries for me is the third and long situations for the Colts. Of course, it's been pretty much a kryptonite for the Colts for multiple seasons, no matter who the coordinator is. Whenever it's third and long, the Colts just happen to give up the big plays every time. But when it's third and short, they lock in, and they pretty much do a pretty good job. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Colts play on third down situations against the Tennessee Titans. Is Cam Ward going to get another interception? But this time it's going to be on the road. And they're outside. They're not inside. So it's going to be the first time them playing outside. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play with that, especially when we get a little bit down the road and the weather starts to get cold. How they're going to play with that as well. But definitely Jonathan Taylor has to be the key. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to force Daniel Jones to throw the football a lot. Even though he's been having some success, this could be his first hiccup. Everybody's down to have a bad game. So can this be the potential first game for Jones to have a wake-up alert, especially he's outside, playing in that good weather in the dome is definitely perfect football. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays outside, especially against the Tennessee Titans. It's going to be interesting to see how he does that. Other than that, like I said, turnover-wise, it's going to be interesting to see how Cam Ward can manage the football. It's even, the run game as well. Can they manage the football? They always have – the Titans does have good run success against the Indianapolis Colts. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. Like I said, the run game against the Titans, it's going to be iffy because they do have good run defense. They have some brutes up there. So I'm looking to see how this offensive line is going to hold up for Jonathan Taylor to see if he wants to go out there and have big runs. Are they going to be able to hold up pretty much for him to have those type of moments? But he's been doing pretty good in the receiving game, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to balance that out. The offensive line for the Titans, like I said, the pass rush has been a little suspect for the Indianapolis Colts as of late, but the Tennessee Titans they did lose 2 starters on the offensive line, so it's going to be interesting to see how they manage that. And production-wise, it hasn't been as great. Like I said, they don't really have a top-tier offense. Cam Ward is a beast, but he's been pretty much making success with budget players. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But like I said, they do have talent, but I think it's more of a coaching issue and scheme issue than it is the players. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Colts can take advantage of that and they pretty much run away with it. They haven't punted the ball at all this year. Is this going to be the first time they punt the ball? If it is, and it's against the Titans, it would make sense. But it's a legit chance they can, blow this game out the water as well, have a good game. They did sweep them last year, but, last year is last year. This year is a new season, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play in the first division game on the road. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How do you think this game is going to turn out? Is Daniel Jones going to have a big game? Is Jonathan Taylor going to explode? Or is Cam Ward finally going to step on the scene and get his first dub in the NFL against his division rivals? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. All positivity here from both sides, Colts or Titans. We are not hating right now. It's going to be an interesting game, but we will tune in after the game and let me know your thoughts. We'll probably be live to watch the game as well, so tune in for that. Reactions go crazy. But until next time, it's ColtureShock. You guys have a good one.